as Manchester United fans, we are used to seeing a false dawn here or there. We've had quite a few since Fergie retired. And I'm not going to pretend that Manchester United have got one problem, and if we fix it, then it's all hunky-dory. And I'm also not going to pretend that beating Brentford is the beginning of something brand new and brilliant. However, I want to run through and explain what United's biggest problem is. I think you know what you let me know now before you continue the video what you think I'm going to say, and I'll run through it. All right, because I think this could be a big week in proving the point I'm trying to make. All right, because it depends where your energy wants to go, right? You can talk about United's lack of goals, like the inconsistent tactics and the lack of, I suppose, overall identity, the mentality of the players, and then maybe the staff. I don't know, the mentality of Manchester United as a whole, fitness problems, injury problems, sure. But I think if you want to get down to the single biggest problem for me, it's this. It's the lack of consistency that exists inside this Manchester United team. Now, let's take a quick look at the Premier League table right now. We are the definition of inconsistency. Beating Spurs, drawing against Palace, losing against Tottenham, drawing against Villa, beating Brentford. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And if you look deeper and you look at the overall performances, that's where the inconsistencies become even more so. Fulham, I thought we played pretty well. Deserved to be 1 or 2 up by the time the Xerxes scored. Brighton, I thought we had some consistency between those two games. Brighton, obviously, that unlucky Xerxes offside goal, they go and score the winner at the end. Got humped by Liverpool. Came back from the international break, and we put in some 3-0, 7-0, great. Palace, good first half, awful second. Twente, we were the second best team, and we deserved to lose, really. Spurs got humiliated. Porto, chaos. Villa, well, we shut up shop. And Brentford, okay first half, better second half. But again, the lack of consistency between the performances is just, it's so painful. It really is. And I think it's at the core of everything. And again, I'll go into explain it in a bit more detail. So that game against Brentford, sure, the second half was great. And I hope this is the start of something new. But if we rewind, okay, we have seen plenty of times under Erik Ten Hag where it just doesn't really match up, right? See here, United that was when we got beaten by City 3-1. Then we came back and we beat Everton the game after. And then we had that massive game against Liverpool. And you think that would spark and bring 13 days off. United drew against Brentford, lost against Chelsea, drew against Liverpool, drew against Bournemouth. That game in the FA Cup semi. And we go to another occasion here where United, right, beat Burnley, beat Palace. Then that was when Amrabat made his debut at left back, I think it was. Then we lose to Crystal Palace in the league. Haven't beat them in the League Cup. Lose to Galatasaray. Beat Brentford and beat Sheffield Wednesday and beat Copenhagen and then get pumped 3-0 back-to-back at home within the space of 4 days. Inconsistent. And this here is what we need, right? And it's bad. I have to go back to the first season of Manchester United under Erik Ten Hag to show you this. But I always hold it as when we played the best because it was when we played the best. Coming back from the World Cup, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wins on the spin, including City. And, of course, all the build-up here to Man United winning the League Cup by beating Newcastle. It's this lack of consistency which has, in my opinion, hurt Erik Ten Hag probably the most. And is what's made it so frustrating as a fan. And I don't really think that Erik Ten Hag can be afforded any more roller coasters. Up, down, great, crap, poor, excellent. That's why this Fenerbahce game for me is probably going to be quite an important marker. Because going into these European games, okay, there's a pattern, clear pattern that has existed from Copenhagen to Galatasaray to Porto to any other one really that's happened under Erik Ten Hag. Chaos. Pure chaos, especially away from home. Now, the home games haven't exactly been any less chaotic. I suppose Twente was, and there were some other examples, but chaos. That's not consistency, right? And I'm a firm believer that if Manchester United can bring a consistency to the performance, then the results will follow. We did a community video where we said, look, what do you think is the most important thing going forward? And of course, results were number one. But I think if we strip back that and we focus on the performance in that second half against Brentford, that's how you got the best out of Højlund. That's how you got the best out of Rashford. That's how you get the best out of Garnacho. You're difference makers. Bruno Fernandes operating in the right positions. Garnacho having space because United are operating with Højlund dropping a little bit deeper, Rashford tucking inside, Dalot going on the overlap, and space is being created, and all of a sudden he's got time to find that cross. Consistency in the performances, consistency in the patterns will just lead to your attackers looking better. Will just lead to your attackers being in the right place at the right time. It's quite simple when you say it like that, but United have just found it so difficult under Erik Ten Hag. And as I said previously, we might have gone into this Fenerbahce game under Erik Ten Hag in Europe, and we would have gone really aggressive, leave loads of space in the middle, probably intend on conceding, but don't worry because we'll just score more than them. We've thrown away 2-0 leads against Copenhagen, against Porto, and against Galatasaray. If we go 2-0 up against, that'd be great if you go 2-0 up against Fenerbahce, but we have to be tighter. That was a second half against Brentford, was a consistent performance from us. That's the wrong one there. It was just United attacking and defending as a team. Off the ball, very disciplined. Casemiro wasn't lunging in too much. It was just everybody as a collective was there. And if Fenerbahce, if we go there now and it's just chaos again, after seeing an improvement against Brentford, that's that roller coaster I'm saying that we can't have any more of. We just need the steady progress from Erik Ten Hag. I actually think I was harsh when I said this. I don't think we were awful in the first half against Brentford. The finishing wasn't there. It was a slow tempo, though. And it allowed Brentford to be a bit more comfortable than they should have been. Go away to Fenerbahce. We're not going to be comfortable at any point. We're going to have to deal with that. I've already said that I'd like to personally see us probably use a 4-5-1 away from home in Europe. Really shut up shop and use our explosiveness on the counter-attack. In certain games like that, Fergie did it so often, but we've just tried to go almost toe-to-toe with teams and just left ourselves way too exposed and been punished for it. Erik needs to mature in that sense, develop the tactics that aren't working, and bring a level of consistency that I don't really think we've seen for a long old time. And I go back to when we won the League Cup. That was when it was. We got 7 wins in a row. I want United to get 7 wins in a row now. We've got one against Brentford. We've got Fenerbahce coming next. And then we talk about how much United are losing. Don't have a lack of... We talk about how much United lack identity. Just look at West Ham. It's even worse. I don't want to see a yo-yo United anymore. If we go to Fenerbahce and we lose, but we play like we did in the second half against Brentford and we look like a collective team and we've done everything, and maybe the finishing isn't quite there, you're not going to see the same sort of reaction from United fans as if we go there to Fenerbahce and we just load the shotgun and we lose 4-3 and it's mental. Bring that consistency in the performance and the approach, Erik, and I think the consistency in the results can follow. But if you chop and change massively how we play from game to game, how can you ever truly expect consistency in the results?